Good morning. As the sun rises over Washington and Seoul, a sense of anticipation lingers in the air. We're tracking a major story between the United States and South Korea, one that could reshape the balance of power and prosperity in the region. Just 2 weeks ago, President Donald Trump and President Lee Jae-myung met face-to-face at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Gyeongju, South Korea. The world watched as the two leaders exchanged firm handshakes and posed for cameras, signaling hope for a new era of cooperation. Expectations soared for a landmark agreement that would address both security and economic concerns. But as of today, November 11, 2025, no deal has been signed, and the negotiation table remains empty. The initial optimism that swept through financial markets and diplomatic circles has faded, replaced by growing uncertainty and concern on both sides of the Pacific. Investors and business leaders are now left wondering what comes next. Officials had hinted at a comprehensive security and trade deal, one that could set a new standard for international cooperation. But the silence since the summit suggests that tough sticking points remain behind closed doors. The handshake moments are over, the photo ops have ended, but the official document is still missing, leaving many to question what went wrong. Sources close to the negotiations say the leaders agreed in principle on several key issues, but the fine print, details involving sensitive technology transfers and economic guarantees, is causing trouble. The lack of a public statement or press conference is highly unusual, signaling that significant disagreements remain unresolved. The world's media waits, but answers are scarce. This isn't just about diplomatic protocol. Key economic and security initiatives are now in limbo, with billions of dollars and regional stability hanging in the balance. The world is watching closely, anxious to see how these longtime allies will overcome this unexpected hurdle, and whether a breakthrough is still possible. The big question remains, what's holding up the deal, and can the negotiators find common ground before the window of opportunity closes? The answer is complex, involving sensitive military technology, national pride, and billions in trade. As talks continue, the stakes couldn't be higher for both nations, and for the world. At the heart of the delay is a nuclear-powered submarine, an engineering marvel that represents the cutting edge of naval warfare and a leap forward in military capability. For South Korea's military, acquiring such a vessel isn't just about prestige. It's about fundamentally changing the balance of power in the region and ensuring national security in an increasingly uncertain world. President Lee has made it clear, publicly requesting this advanced vessel to counter growing regional threats, signaling to both allies and adversaries that South Korea is ready to step up its defense game. Nuclear submarines can stay submerged for months at a time, patrolling silently beneath the waves, making them nearly impossible to track or intercept. Their stealth and endurance make them a nightmare for enemy forces, as they can evade detection by even the most advanced radar and sonar systems. This is why they're considered a strategic asset, capable of projecting power, deterring aggression, and providing a crucial edge in any conflict scenario. The U.S. has always guarded its nuclear propulsion technology closely, treating it as one of its most sensitive military secrets and sharing it only with its closest allies. South Korea argues it needs this technological edge to keep pace with regional rivals and to guarantee its own security in a rapidly changing strategic environment. After years of negotiation, the U.S. has reportedly agreed in principle to help, marking a significant shift in policy and a new chapter in the alliance. A senior South Korean official says Washington has given a green light for nuclear fuel use, a breakthrough that could redefine the region's security landscape. But moving from high-level approval to a signed, actionable deal is proving far more complicated than anyone expected. Multiple U.S. departments are now reviewing the details, weighing the risks and benefits, and scrutinizing every clause of the potential agreement. Internal debates, ranging from security concerns to political implications, are slowing progress and making consensus difficult. The real sticking point isn't whether South Korea gets the submarine, but where it will be built, a question that touches on jobs, technology transfer, and national pride. This single detail has become the main roadblock, stalling progress and fueling tension between the two allies. The submarine is both a symbol of alliance and a source of friction, embodying the promise and the challenges of high-stakes international cooperation. The leaders agree on the goal, strengthening their partnership and security, but the how is where things are stuck, with no easy solution in sight. Until this critical issue is resolved, the the entire deal remains on hold, leaving the future of the submarine and the alliance hanging in the balance. The core disagreement: who builds the submarine? President Trump insists it must be built in a U.S. shipyard, aligning with his America First policy and protecting sensitive technology. This would mean billions for American industry and jobs, plus tight control over nuclear secrets. President Lee, meanwhile, wants the submarine built in South Korea, a matter of national pride and industrial progress. Building it at home would boost South Korea's shipbuilding sector and create skilled jobs. Both leaders are publicly committed to their positions, creating a diplomatic standoff. Neither side is backing down, and this construction dispute is the main reason the summit's agreement is stalled. The result: a diplomatic logjam with major consequences. The future of the alliance, and billions in trade, hangs on this decision. The delay isn't just political, it's about technology and trust. The stakes are incredibly high and every detail matters. U.S. nuclear propulsion is a crown jewel, developed over decades at great cost. It represents the pinnacle of military engineering and strategic advantage. Sharing it is a huge step, and the Pentagon is cautious. They must ensure that this technology doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Even with top-level approval, many U.S. agencies must sign off, and internal debates are fierce. Each agency has its own concerns and priorities. Experts are weighing the risks. What precedent does this set? Could the technology leak? The implications are far-reaching. South Korean officials confirm that wording and feedback are causing the holdup. They want to ensure their own security and technological advancement. The fine print matters. What tech is shared? Where is it built? What safeguards exist? These details could make or break the deal. Would U.S. personnel oversee construction in Korea? This is a critical point of negotiation. How much access would they have? The extent of oversight is a contentious issue. Ultimately, it's about trust. Can South Korea protect this technology for decades? The U.S. needs assurances. The U.S. wants security. South Korea wants real capability. Both sides have valid concerns and aspirations. Finding a compromise that satisfies both is proving extremely difficult. The negotiations are intense and complex. Until then, the deal remains stuck. The future of this partnership hangs in the balance. The world waits for a breakthrough. The outcome will have global implications. The submarine standoff is freezing a much larger trade and investment deal. This broader agreement, in the works since July 2023, was a classic trade-off. South Korea invests in U.S. industries, and the U.S. lowers tariffs on Korean goods. Lower tariffs would boost South Korean exports, cars, electronics, and more, while U.S. industries would see billions in investment. The deal was a win-win, but now it's bundled with the submarine issue. Linking the deals was meant to create leverage, but it's backfired. The submarine dispute is blocking progress on everything else. Both sides are frustrated. Korean companies face financial pressure, and U.S. states await investment. One unresolved issue has frozen a wide range of economic opportunities. What should have been a landmark agreement is now a source of tension. The business communities on both sides are growing impatient. The clock is ticking for a resolution. A massive $350 billion investment package from South Korea is also on hold. Major Korean corporations pledge to invest in U.S. high-tech sectors: EV batteries, semiconductors, biotech. This would create thousands of American jobs and strengthen critical supply chains. The Memorandum of Understanding is drafted but unsigned, waiting for the submarine dispute to be settled. The promise of new factories and jobs is stalled by military negotiations. For the Trump administration, this is a major setback. Foreign investment and manufacturing were key goals. For Korean companies, the delay disrupts business planning and long-term strategy. Some, like Hyundai, have already started work on U.S. projects, but uncertainty looms. The $350 billion promise remains just that, a promise. Both economies are missing out on the benefits. Diplomacy must catch up with business. The delay is hitting South Korean companies hard. Hyundai is a prime example. Industry Minister Kim Jung-kwon says Hyundai is losing over $200 million every month due to stalled tariff cuts. Higher tariffs mean Hyundai cars are less competitive in the U.S., hurting sales and profits. The trade deal was supposed to fix this, but the holdup continues. Hyundai's challenges are compounded by recent setbacks. like a raid on its Georgia battery plant. The financial pain ripples through Hyundai's suppliers and the broader Korean economy. Even global giants are vulnerable to diplomatic gridlock. Real businesses and workers are paying the price for political delays. The longer the standoff lasts, the greater the damage. Hyundai's struggles are a warning for both governments. The stakes are real and growing. The uncertainty is shaking confidence in South Korea's economy. Just look at the won. On November 11th, the won hit a 7-month low against the dollar, dropping 0.7%. A weaker currency means higher import costs and rising inflation. Investors are nervous, watching the stalled negotiations and fearing for Korea's trade future. The lack of a clear timeline is fueling speculation and anxiety in financial markets. Officials have tried to reassure investors, but without a deal, the won keeps sliding. South Korea's export-driven economy depends on stable U.S. ties. The submarine dispute now threatens that stability. One unresolved issue is rippling through the entire economy. The pressure is mounting for a breakthrough. The fate of the won is now tied to the fate of the deal. Two allies are stuck at the final toughest stage of negotiation. Both say they're close to a deal, but the finish line keeps moving. The core issue: where to build the nuclear submarine. This single dispute is holding up a sweeping security and economic package. President Trump wants jobs and investment at home. President Lee wants a technological leap for Korea. Both leaders have staked their reputations on this deal. Neither wants to blink. Meanwhile, companies lose millions, investments are frozen, and the won weakens. The U.S.-South Korea partnership is being tested like never before. A creative compromise, maybe joint construction or phased tech transfer, could break the deadlock. For now, the world waits. Billions in trade and investment hang in the balance. The outcome will shape the future of both nations.